Hello and welcome guys to another Vainglory commentary video. This is number 2 of this series, and today we have a nice video covering Ardan. Ardan used to be my main for a very long time, so I'm pretty proficient playing Ardan. I play very aggressive Ardan, so you will see how it turns out. But let's take a look at the draft. So, early draft, usual bans, Grumpjaw and Baron. Although Baron got a nerf this update, so it's not as good. I played it a game already with a new version, Baron, and it seems like the shots pack, the rocket shots pack a little less punch than they usually do. Anyways, I say opponents, they pick Catherine first pick, standard first pick. We already had a carry, so I just decided for the default captain role. Mostly because there was already a jungler set up, and also because you want to give some room for your last teammate, to do some counter picks as the last pick. So I went for captain role. Ardan, they ended up picking Gwen and Taka. So main thing going into this comp is make sure you should either reflex block for your team to avoid the stuns on Catherine, and also have some vision against Taka, or the Atlas Pauldron to support against Gwen. If you hit Gwen, Atlas Pauldron her, it will give a little bit of a breather to your support carry, in this case our Idris. Our third teammate decided to do jungler Rona, which is fine, I guess. Not the optimum pick against the Taka and the Gwen, but it will work as long as she doesn't get stunned. It might work nicely. So, first picks off the table. I've seen a lot of people using the flares. Not the flare, but the contraption flare thing, whatever it's called, the flare gun, initially. I'm not very adept at that, because it seems like you end up taking a bit longer to reach the fountain. So I prefer to do the protection contract, in case our teammates want to engage. In this case I had a Rona as a teammate, so I was pretty sure she would like to be a little more aggressive, especially against the Taka. Taka early on is very squishy. So a couple flares, protective contract, and we should do well in early aggression. They didn't even show up at all to contest the first 3 ends, so lucky us. Later on in the middle of the game we will realize that one of their teammates, I believe was Catherine, did not show up early on in the game. So they got a little disadvantage over that, which sucks, but well, it is what it is. We have to keep playing. So, initial farming went pretty well. Just helping Rona clear up the jungle, maybe do the second tree end. Idris seemed to be taking care of himself pretty well up there. So we decided to go for the second tree end. Use the second flare they still have lying around, make sure we don't have a contest. And no one else showed up, so it was pretty easy 3 end. So this gave us a good advantage early on in the game. I even got the regen from that 3 end, so I decided to go up and help Idris a little bit, put some pressure on Gwen. He didn't seem to be needing health support, so I just decided to lurk, get that money, check the bush. There's no one popping up to gank Idris.
No, I don't need friends.
So at this point we started to think that something might be up. I mean, no activity from the jungle. Saw Taka, so Taka was still farming, although not as good as he could, but he was still farming. Idris is putting some pressure, so that was the whole point. So just decided to sit there and let Idris farm, collect that extra money while providing him defensive vision. Not much happening in this early part of the game. We just need to level up faster than the opponent team. Rona was also farming pretty decently. Saw some action up there, Gwen, so I decided to give her a little poke. Just to keep her back, don't let her breed too much. Maybe have an opportunity for Idris to finish her off if she oversteps. Went back for the Fountain of Renewal but didn't have enough, so decided to just do sprint boots and get the Fountain of Renewal later on.
Is my liquid cooler busted again?
Sometimes you have the fountain but you don't reach the fight on time, so it's a bit counterproductive to have the fountain on those events. So yeah, just standard first game, early game presence, helping out farm, nothing much. Rona was farming good, Idris was completely unchallenged.
Let's test these upgrades.
And yeah, Catherine was still absent at this point. Now she's back. Just popping up there. I guess the item only gets updated when you see the hero. I don't know. And Idris managed to get himself ganked up there. 3 versus 1, so can't really blame him, even if it is under the turret. So we take the opportunity to steal a little bit of farm. Have to chase them away here. Rona was feeling very adventurous, doing 3 versus 1 or 3 versus 2. But I decided we should probably get back, get the Crystal Sentry support at least. Taka managed to steal our farm, or almost steal. I think Rona still got it. And now we ended up with the first real fight of the game. Rona completely dominating, so she's already level 6. I just need to support her. We win too, mostly because Catherine was so behind. I guess she missed out on the early game. And they could still get back into the game at this point. We decided to go for the turret. Gwen was there contesting it. I thought I might surprise her with some attack, but then everyone showed up, so I didn't have enough time to do the thing. Idris was almost ganked here. Had the fountain to help him out. And we managed to take down Taka. He was almost dead, but he survived. Yeah, the Catherine way too aggressive for being behind. So we just had to punish her. And steal some farm some more. At this point I decided to go for vision, mostly because of Taka. He might be the one that would surprise us occasionally. Rona taking the gold miner. Easy support, completely uncontested, so pretty easy game so far. They were putting some hits on our turret at this point, was a bit hesitant between what to buy, and also was a bit away from the shop. I was close. Wanted to get Gwen here, but ended up being stunned. I think it's by luck. He was planning to stun Idris, and then I showed up. We were suffering a little pressure, but should be able to hold them off. Just need to get rid of this wave. Taka was lurking, just wanted to expose him to let Idris hit him. Not enough to kill him, had to pop the fountain there. They were still safe. Rona engaged, took me a little while to realize that, but she was safe. And Taka decided to suicide himself by some reason. He thought 1 versus 3 when his half health makes sense, so yeah. More advantage for us. Decided to steal some farm while the guys put pressure on the lane. Thought Rona might want it, but apparently she thought I wanted the health, so yeah, I just took it. Still away from contraption, not enough farm. So yeah, pretty easy game, pretty uncontested, mostly because of Catherine late spawn. But I mean, if they play defensively, they could still win the game at this point. Especially Taka will do a lot of damage, and Gwen can also surprise you if you overstep. So like here, another stun of the Catherine on the Vanguard. Idris doing some hits on Taka. Our Rona was a bit overstepping, but she came to her senses in time. Then she decided to go for the gold miner instead. This was a bit risky. I was a bit afraid of this one, because they could very easily have backtracked. But no, apparently they were decided to play completely defensive at this point, which was good for us. Had complete domination over the jungle, increase our lead. Finally got contraption. Was trying to decide if I should go for boots or Atlas Pauldron. Decided to go for boots to give Rona some more speed up. And also increases my own health as well, which can be useful. Rona is completely cleaning house, so I think the boots was a decent call. But yeah, second item should probably go for either, or third item actually should probably go for either Atlas Pauldron or the boots, depending if you want more speed or if your team needs defense. Depends on how strong their enemy carry is. At this point I was already dead, I just was trying to take Gwen along with me, which could have happened if I managed to get her to jump into a mine, but alas, I was out of mines. Contraption was still refueling or restocking. Got some flares, as much flares as possible to shine out Taka, because I want to use the contraption to put down vision, not use it as flare. Idris was in trouble, but he managed to stay alive. I thought he was being persecuted down through the bushes on the top, but I just wasted a Vanguard there. Didn't manage to keep him from getting stunned, but at least prevented him to losing that much health. Rona getting low, had to pop the fountain for her, but not enough. She got that stun from Catherine. I thought Taka was dead at this point, that was why I was being so aggressive. If I had realized he was still on, I would have backed off earlier on. But apparently it was fine. Idris was doing some damage. Just try to help him clear up the wave, maybe do a few hits. Not worth pursuing them. We were still 2 versus 1. Would have popped the boots, the war threads, if I saw them too low, but that was not the case. Decided to support Rona in this chase, but she gave up. So, and then she went for it while I was shopping. Just stealing for arm, not actually hitting people, so that's fine. Started working into the Atlas Pauldron, but needed to buy more flares to keep that Taka in check. Never let the Taka snowball. Once he gets his third item, he's deadly like hell. A normal Taka would build, what's it called? Hold on, let me check the name. Normal Taka would build a Storm Guard banner and either transform it into a Storm Crown or sell it off later on and go full Crystal. If it's a Crystal Taka, of course. And usually either you go for Shatter Glass or you go directly for Broken Myth, depending on how much sustain you have on your team. Against the opponent team, I mean. On this particular case, he wasn't doing so well. He was always getting ganked. So I think it would be smart to go for Shatter Glass instead. Maybe Shatter Glass and Aftershock. But when I do Taka, I usually do Storm Crown. But it depends a lot. I've seen a lot of different CP Takas. They were pretty low, tried to catch them. Luckily I had the flare, cut him out, dead. So this is why you should have extra flares around. Especially when you're dealing with a Taka. So this Taka really had it rough. Gwen stepped in, trying to get the kill, but Rona chased him away. Popped the boots to help Rona re-engage the gold miner faster.
Immense gold
or go after Gwen if she chose to, but she decided not to. Alright, finally have the Atlas Pauldron start doing some aggression. I like doing Aftershock on my Ardan. I know a lot of people are against that. They want to do full defense and do
Let's test these out.
Another defensive item after these two, maybe a Crucible. Most people go for Crucible because there's always a use for Crucible. In this case, it's to either prevent the stun from Catherine or just maybe a Taka Rush, give a little sustain.
It's heavy.
But I don't really like Crucible unless we're getting really smashed and really playing defensively. I prefer to always go Aftershock and help out a little bit on offense. Because I mean, if I want to deploy the Atlas Pauldron on the enemy, I need to go offensive anyway, so I might as well pack a good punch. And that way they will be a bit more afraid of me as well, and that might give us a little more dominance on their jungle. But yeah, it's a contested viewpoint. Some people like the Aftershock idea, and other people prefer that you do full defense. So this was the Taka fight. They were trying to contest it, but they were too behind on gold to be able to do it. Some people also suggested the last item be either the Null Wave Gauntlet to give some silence to stuff to the opponent team, or maybe even Shiver Steel if you want to slow them down. With a Rona, it would be indeed a good idea to have a Shiver Steel as well to give her a little more away. This Taka thought it could get away, but nope. I can just support myself, and that little tiny spark of energy makes Taka pop up. So we're completely dominating at this point. We're avoiding getting killed though. Decided to put some pressure on Gwen to make her get a bit away. We're almost dying, didn't have fountain to pop. Gwen was trying to hunt me, then she moved. Try to help get Gwen, managed to get it. But Rona had already backed away. And well, because Taka was respawning anyway, so we would just gotten ourselves to a bad situation. Probably end up getting aced. Pop the boots to make sure Taka wouldn't catch up with us. And just keep deploying that vision. Finally have enough for the aftershock. So now I can pack a punch, and also the skills come faster, which is always good. Want to do a few more punches. I don't know why I keep mistaking Vanguard for the Gauntlet. This is Vanguard when you use the shield. The Gauntlet is this. This is the Gauntlet. I keep calling the Gauntlet Vanguard by some weird reason. Always have for as long as I can remember. This was a great fight. Gwen completely melted. I don't even know who gave her so much damage, if it was Rona or Idris, but she just melted. I think she got like one shot out of that match. And this was, we already knew that this was CG at this point, which can be risky. I know sometimes when you are at this point, you can do some stupid decisions like dive, 3-man crew, instead of waiting for the Kraken. And then get surprised because, you know, they have their base to restock. I wanted to catch Taka on my Gauntlet, and he managed to run right into him. And that Vanguard killed him, which is good. Only Gwen left to deal with. She could still defend it. Idris was giving her a few good hits. Decided to just go for the turret. That was good enough. Turret was dead. Put pressure on Gwen so she would lay off Idris. She didn't, but she paid for it. And at this point, Rona was already at the Vayne, so the game was won. It was quite low, and I didn't have a fountain, but it didn't matter. Taka was still not responding. So that was it. Pretty easy game overall. Let me know, if you think the build was wrong, if I made any particular mistakes. Don't get fooled by this ending. I think Idris didn't have just broken myths. He should have had some other stuff. I think he just sold them in the end. I think. But yeah, that build from Taka, I didn't really like it either. Well, yeah, that's it. So, bye-bye everyone. Hope this video was useful. See you next time. Take care.